On top of that, DeMar DeRozan was on the Run Your Race podcast with Theo Pinson and AJ Richardson. He kind of rehashed the chaos of the 2024-25 season. And like for me, it was interesting to watch. I know it sounds weird. It was interesting to watch like a really, really like solid veteran guy who's been in the league for this was his 16th season, but go through chaos for the first time
Mhm.
because I'm so used to chaos.
Yeah, no, this is not normal what happens in Sacramento.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
So like I can say, let me think, just off the top of my head, Key Smart replaced Paul Westphal midseason. Ty Corbin replaced Mike Malone midseason, and then George Karl replaced Ty Corbin midseason. On top of that, we've got Alvin Gentry replacing Luke Walton midseason, and you've got Doug Christie replacing Mike Brown midseason. So I've seen a coach replace midseason 5 times.
Yeah, I feel like for you media guys out there, it's kind of, oh, here we go again. Anytime it does go down.
No, totally.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I remember when the puke game, when the guy throws up all over the court, and then Luke Walton is let go the next morning. We were walking down to the media room, and Brendan Nunez had not gone through this before, and it was quiet, and everyone was like, okay, and it's like, what do I do here? And I looked at him, I'm like, don't worry, me and Jason and Sean, we got you. We've been through this a bunch of times. And he's like, okay. I said, if you want to ask a question, but what you don't want to do is ask about the game, because that's not what the story is tonight. The story is a coach that's about to get fired. And like, we all knew. And then we walked in the media room, and it was like peppering around, and it was like interesting. But now here we are a couple of years later, and Brennan's been through it.
No, he knows
he's
what
already
to do.
gone through it again, and you see it coming.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, no. When Mike Brown got fired, like there was no question. Like I knew a couple of days before, and we had talked about it, and like we knew it was coming right before Christmas. But then they waited until after Christmas, and it was really uncomfortable. Like, right, but you've been through it a bunch of times. So to have a player come through who's a Hall of Famer, and DeMar DeRozan, who's been in the league 16 years, and who has never been through a situation where a coach got fired mid-season, was like stunning. Like, what do you mean you've never been through this?
Well, like the guy played for the Raptors, and the Raptors have never really been too dysfunctional, as far as I can think.
Well, I mean,
at least
did
with him.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
they did fire who was their coach?
Dwayne Casey.
Dwayne Casey. He won
Coach of the Year.
Coach of the Year, and then they fired him. That, I mean, but that can be a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know if that was dysfunction or just more so
George Karl,
because they kept losing to LeBron at that time and stuff like that. But either way, like there wasn't like this in Sacramento or anything like that. And then you get to San Antonio, and San Antonio was tip top shape no matter what.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of Chicago was.
It's surprising that they never fired a coach there.
Yeah, like Chicago was just a playing team or whatever, and then you get to Sacramento, it's just boom, 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 and he kind of fell into a role that probably he wasn't supposed to be in when he got there.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Like the reason why he ends up being a player who was able to average 20 plus a game this season is because of the chaos. Like there should have been a point where you started to transition this team to like the Keegan Murray team, and you didn't do it because like chaos hit. And then going through like having the best player on a team traded, and people can like want to argue that or whatever on the outside. Like De'Aaron Fox inside the locker room and in the practice facility and on the court was like understood as the best player on that team.
Yeah.
Like by the players. Like De'Aaron's our guy. Right. So when that happens, that's also like another like earth shattering, like chaotic moment.
Because DeMar during the podcast talks about like it was one thing after, no, we're not playing the clip, it's anything they cussed during or whatever. But he talks about like Mike Brown gets fired, then De'Aaron gets traded, and then like Zach LaVine and the new guys get here. And he talks about how he's trying to find his footing with the guys that are already there. People get traded, and then he's kind of assume this leadership role because no one else is there, whatever. And like he's kind of trying to work with Zach when he's still trying to figure out like the past team and all that stuff. Like there was never a flow that team found at all last year, just based off of what he said. It was just constant, just on the move, like Doug Christie was saying saying when he took over, it's kind of trying to fix a plane on the fly, and they just never found their footing at all. Like,
Yeah,
it was impossible to. Like, I don't think it was just way too much going on for them to even find any sort of consistency.
well, then you had the injuries happen.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, he
people.
talked about Monk getting hurt and all
Well,
that.
Monk, but also remember Sabonis. Everyone thought Sabonis was going to be out for the season,
Yeah.
and was able to come back and keep playing. Like it's just I always joke around. I have a running thing that me and Del Enos, one of the scorekeepers, the official scorekeepers, we always take a gauge on what we think is going to happen for the season. Like right before the season starts, we throw out a number of how many wins. And there was one season where I said, I think this team can win 45, but I want a plus or minus 8. And he's like, well, no, that we always do a plus or minus 3. And I'm like, yeah, but this season in particular, I think if they let the chaos come in, it will eat this team, and they'll drop to 35 wins or 38 wins. And I said, but if not, I think they can actually win 50. And sure enough, they traded DeMarcus Cousins that season. Rudy Gay popped his Achilles. They traded Omri Caspi.
The
they
chaos got him.
Yeah, the chaos came to Sacramento, and that's the problem. Like, how do you avoid the chaos, and how do you keep the chaos out? And I wonder, like, how much will this change? Like, the Kings were able to land DeMar DeRozan as a free agent. Again, one of the most accomplished free agent signings the Kings have ever had, right? Even if the fact is he was 35 and they had to do a sign and trade to get him, it still was a free agent acquisition. I wonder if this is going to impact the way that some of the older players might look at the Kings and be like, they're still not a team I would consider.
Well, you look at it because they were talking about in the pod as well, like there was pieces there, like there was something you could believe in. And right now, do they have something you can believe in?
It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of work to do to convince anyone to believe in this team moving forward for this season. And like Doug's got a lot of work to do as a coach, but also Scott Perry he's got to go out there and try to find his Shea or his Tyrese Halliburton or his Jalen Brunson or his
good luck, Scott,
or his Anthony Edwards. Yeah. Well, we'll discuss that more when we come back. We're the Insiders here on ESPN 1320, 98.5 HD2. You can find us on youtube.com/ESPN 1320. Twitch, we're on the Twitter box, all of that stuff. Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We'll see you in just a minute. The A's acquired Sean Newcomb from the
Red Sox
yesterday, or 2 days ago.
Yeah, Newcomb just ate up a bunch of innings.
Is he
played
good?
for the A's before, I think.
Really? I don't remember.
I think I saw that. I thought he's just
6'5",
he's
32
just a
year
bullpen arm that's gonna eat up 5 innings if you need him.
Yeah, but he's been a starter. He's got you might be right. This year he started.
Yeah, he didn't earn it, not earn, but he just didn't make a spot in the rotation in spring training.
Yeah, 3.95 ERA. He's given up this season. Wow, 55 hits and 17 walks. Struck out 41 in 41 innings.
What's up, Germs?
What's up, Germs? Hey, if you guys are in the YouTube, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up. We appreciate that. And I'm still waiting for James to replicate the thumbs up emoji. The other day, remember you did the thumbs up and it did the emoji on the screen?
Oh, that's
only on the Apple or the Max, though, right?
Oh, were you at home?
I was at home when I did it. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you can go like this on the and at home. There's a setting in your that you have to turn on, like allow emojis. That's not what I wanted to click on.
Mark, I don't disagree, but that's not the path they're taking.
They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And like, I'm generally optimistic.
Yeah, Joe's a pretty happy. Yeah.
Oh man. And I'm not feeling too good. It's even I am gonna need some convincing, which is worrying. But
there was someone, Sean Newcomb did pitch for the A's in 2023. That wasn't even that long ago. He pitched 7 games. Interesting. Yeah, someone mentioned earlier too, the Kings have to find a star, right? And I don't know how they do that. And that's where I disagree with a lot of people here. Like, hey, don't just go throw a bunch of assets at something, because if you find the right star, you might be able to build around that star like quickly. Like, it doesn't have to be like a long drawn out thing. And so I'm intrigued because somebody brought up like Tyrese Maxey, and I don't think Philadelphia is going to let go of Tyrese Maxey. But I do think that there is a world in which you can give them an offer they can't refuse. And I don't like dealing with Daryl Morey, but I didn't like Monty McNair dealing with Daryl Morey because they were close. And I felt like Daryl Morey always just messed with money.